All right, Shalom. This is Gamali Allah out of Great Millstone, Atlanta. Want to give all praises to YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHAWAHSI, BAHASHAM, Rakakudash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Shalom to all the Akim that pushing out this truth and sincerity. All right, coming at you with a quick lesson. All right, and this is going to be centered around stubbornness can turn a little issue into a big issue. All right. Now, this is also gonna tie into basically a rebuke on this guy YAHAWAH. All right. Which he was once a part of the GMS Atlanta camp. All right. Which I'm also a part of, and he's now uh, basically coming up against the doctrine, and just talking shit, in so many words. All right. So anyway, with this character, all right, basically his issue started with something so small, okay, and I'm also going to touch on this topic in general, but I'm just using him as an example. But as far as my personal interaction with the dude, all right, the first I guess bad encounter I had with him, okay, was something simple as me calling him and basically telling him that he should try to make it to classes, okay, because we were holding classes, I believe, once a week at the time. All right, and I basically called him because he had a pattern of basically just missing class. So I called him and I was telling him, like, look, man, um, it's pretty important that you make these classes because basically it's for you to be better. Okay, you fail in the test, and um, you aren't growing in the knowledge. Okay, which this is just the truth. But really, he was one of the least uh, as far as script knowledge, um, as far as knowledge goes with the scriptures. Okay, he was one of the least knowledgeable brothers in the camp. Okay, during that time. Now, of course, how much you know, all right. But I'm only saying that to say, after he left the camp, he became some big type of scholar, and all of a sudden, he just knows everything, and we going off. Okay, so I only said that to say, you know, when he was with us, he wasn't well versed when it came to the scriptures. Okay, so anyway, I'll start out with a couple precepts, but going back to the general topic, when you when you have a spirit of stubbornness on you, okay, um, it basically the issue becomes bigger than whatever it is you're being stubborn about. So, for instance, if brothers are telling you, our brothers are giving you advice as far as a particular thing, or brothers are uh, basically reproving you, okay, on a particular subject, okay, that if you're stubborn and you refuse to take that instruction, or you refuse to take the advice, it turns into it all. Now something so small can turn into a bigger issue. Okay, it could be something like, yeah, brother, you need to. It could be anything. It could be something, even as small as, hey, brother, you probably need to, uh, you know, be more active. Okay, all right. Now that particular thing, it may not be a big deal, but as you begin to uh, as you begin to continue that pattern, now it's apparent that you probably are dealing with a demon that's blocking you from doing it, or whatever the case may be. So this is Proverbs 29:1. He that being often reproved hardeneth his neck shall suddenly be destroyed, that and that without remedy. Okay, so you know going back to the example with this guy YAHAWAH, or he calls himself teachers of truth. All right, he was reproved. Okay, All right, uh, like I said, I personally got on him about not showing up to class and his lack of effort, and his response was, I gotta work, you know, he was basically getting angry and defensive instead of saying, taking the humble approach and saying, hey, I'm gonna try better, or accepting the advice, because ultimately I don't gain anything out of him going to class, you know. I don't get nothing out of it, and that's why when we get on men, it's out of love. Okay, when we reprove men, it's out of love, because, like I said, we don't get anything out of us telling you what's good for you. Okay, we're telling you because that's what you need to hear. It's for your own personal improvement. Now, whether you want to take that advice or not, that's on you. Okay, but it says basically you're gonna harden your neck and eventually destroy yourself. Okay, because uh, you're gonna basically get into a position where no one can tell you nothing. All right, and you're just gonna be basically hard headed. Okay, it says he that Proverbs 29:1, he that being often reproved hardened his neck. Okay, so if you're constantly getting God on, then you're basically gonna be a little bit more stubborn. Okay, it says, and that it says shall suddenly be destroyed, and that without remedy. Okay, so ultimately the result is destruction. Even something so small can basically turn into you catching spirits. Okay, because you're gonna be like, damn, why they always getting on me? Why they always on my case? It's because you're not doing it. You're not showing. You're not basically. It makes us the ones that's getting on you. It makes us seem like, or really, we're not assholes, but it makes us seem like an asshole in your eyes, or because you don't want to change. You don't want to herkin. Okay, because ultimately it's not just us that's telling you, it's the Spirit of the Lord. If you even believe that we're the men of the Lord, then if you believe that, then you'll be able to understand that, wow, okay, well, this maybe the Lord, then really it's the Lord that's telling me this. Okay, it's not just coming from this brother, as a personal thing. Okay, maybe he's telling me because the Lord is trying to tell me that I need to tighten up in this particular area. But the point being is just give it ear. Okay, give it, put effort into everything, every advice that brothers give you. Put effort into it. Okay, don't just just hear it, and yes, even from a standpoint of if you do receive it, but you're not actually working towards fixing the issue, then that's just as bad as um, not hearing it at all. Okay, because I mean it's the same kind of stubbornness. It's just you basically are taking the how do I say, dishonest approach by trying to seem like, yeah, Salakia, but you're really not trying to change that behavior. Okay, like I said, everything is about improving ourselves and understanding that when you're in the faith and understanding that, okay, then nothing is personal. You don't take things personal. Okay, all right. So this is Philippians. Matter of fact, we'll get on this because ultimately it's pride and ego. We're all men, and men in general tend to carry a certain level of ego and pride. Okay, that's a natural trait of men. Okay, but guess what? A spiritual man should because the scriptures say put off that old man. Okay, so if you're a spiritual man, if you truly put off that man of the flesh, okay, then basically, you're not going to be offended, when change is presented your direction, okay, you're basically not gonna let that ego get the best of you. You're gonna be able to curb that ego, and move towards the change. Okay, all right. But this is Romans 2:5. But after thy hardness, let me see. Let me see. Slack it 1 second. Uh, okay. I started 5. Slack it. All right. Romans 2:5. But after thy hardness and im, im, impenitent heart treasurest up unto thyself wrath against the day of wrath and revelation of the righteous judgment of the Most High. Okay, who will render every man according to his deeds. Okay, all right. So let's get that word impenitent. All right, impenitent. It means not feeling shame or regret. Okay, so I'll read it again. But after thy hardness and an impenitent heart, so that impenitent basically means not feeling shame or regret. Like basically you don't care. If you ever seen like a little badass kid that always gets in trouble, you ever see a badass little kid and it seemed like when they get in trouble, they just don't give a damn because they always get in trouble. And it just seemed like it don't even really affect them. Like they get in timeout and they just, they it don't even really move them. They're just like, whatever, man. I'm in timeout. He's used to it. That's an impenitent child. Okay. Basically, you don't have any type of shame or, even if you look at a person who's charged with murder, you get some people that will go to court and they'll be laughing in the families in the victim's face, the victim's family's face, all right, and they'll basically have no type of remorse. Okay, so that's basically what happens after a while. It says, but after thy hardness and impenitent heart treasurest up unto thyself wrath against the day of wrath and revelation of the righteous judgment of the Most High. So basically, you got to come to the Most High. Okay, everything that you do, all that rebelliousness, all right, is basically going to is basically going to yeah, I just thought of another preset. But all that rebellion is basically you basically gonna be held accountable for it, man. All right, because the Lord is gonna check you. Like, look, hey, well, I told this to you via my messenger. So why didn't you hurt them? And you're gonna have to come up. You're gonna have to take that into account. You're gonna have to be guilty of the things that you did or said. Okay, 1 Samuel 15 and let's see, 15 and 23. For rebellion is as the sin of witchcraft, and stubbornness is as iniquity and idolatry. Because thou hast rejected the word of the Lord, he hath also rejected thee from being king. Okay? So it says rebellion is the sin of witchcraft, and stubbornness as iniquity and idolatry. Okay? All right, so rebellion, all right, which that word rebellion basically means to war against, okay? And it says stubbornness is as the iniquity of idolatry. So all these things are actually sins, okay? Because ultimately you're not hearkening. And like I said, going back to this guy Marwar, it all started with something so simple as someone telling him to go to class, okay? But guess what? He was rebellious. All right, he didn't uh, like to be uh, he didn't like to be in the hot seat. Okay, he didn't like when the heat got on him. All right, but when he went to camp, he can dish it. He likes to get on niggas. He likes to You know, he likes to, give out heat, but he can't take the heat. Okay, all right. Just like in the, in his videos and his recent responses, he can talk the shit, but he can't. When it's time for him to take on his bullshit, he can't take it. All right. So let's see. I'm gonna get one more and wrap up. All right. This is Philippians 2 and 3. Let nothing be done through strife or vainglory, but in lowliness of mind, let each esteem other better than themselves. Okay. All right. So let nothing be through strife or vainglory, which vainglory is pride. Okay. Which this guy Marwar, he has a ton of pride on him, man. And basically, he's teaching through strife. Okay. Everything that he's doing, everything that he's teaching right now is through strife. He's lost steam. He's lost the spirit. But ultimately, that's what stubbornness will lead to, is strife. Basically, because something so small, now you got ousted from the body. Now you basically on your own, and now you got to teach on your own. Now you're teaching for strife. You don't really want to be teaching out there. You're tired, man. He's dead. He's spiritually dead. He's lost the spirit. Okay, he doesn't have any more steam, but he keeps going because he doesn't want his ego is so far gone that he can't accept defeat. Them demons are eating him up. All right, but like I said, even us that are amongst the fold, okay, we got to take reproof, even amongst little small things, because eventually what it's gonna do is grow and grow and grow and grow, and that little issue is gonna become something bigger. Okay, there's something underlying whenever you don't want to do something, and the spirit is telling you that you should, and it grows and grows and grows, eventually it's going to turn into a big issue, okay, which you don't want that to happen. All right, and it's such a thing called cognitive dissonance. And cognitive dissonance is the feeling of discomfort with something that you shouldn't do, but you keep doing it anyway. Okay, and that's a feeling of discomfort that you're gonna keep putting on yourself. Okay, and then eventually, like I said, you're gonna wax worse and worse. Matter of fact, we'll get that, and then I'll close up on that. All right. All right. 2 Timothy 3 and 13. It says, "But evil men and seducers shall wax worse and worse, deceiving and being deceived." Okay. So you're gonna wax worse and worse, and it starts with something so small, something so small. You don't like, so you don't like this, or you don't like how this brother approached you, or whatever. You know, something so small, that little bit of pride. Hey, the scriptures say a little leaven leaveneth the whole lump. So that little issue will turn into something major. Now all of a sudden you're through. You're totally through. Okay, so the best thing to do is just hear reproof, because the smallest of reproof can turn into a large council, and eventually you getting kicked out. All right, and eventually you being destroyed. Okay. All right. So with that, I'll close up. I want to give all praise to YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHAWAHSI, BAHASHAM, Kakadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles, the great millstone. Shalom.